Hello, everybody. We'll begin to continue with the next tutorial for the NFA, where we'll begin to perform the extended transition function. For the transition function, by the way, always remember that we'll begin to perform the delta hat function, where your Q direct to the string and your inputs. So we'll begin to deal with that step by step, how we will begin to process that one, so that you will begin to understand this one. So the same implementation that we'll begin to use the same NFA that will accept the A's and B's contain equal A's and B's, or having A, B, or BA at least once, then must have no consecutive A's and B's. So in this particular video, then we'll be going to validate if AB, if this particular, sorry, string AB, and BABA, if that is valid or not. We'll begin to see that one. So for this kind of video, we'll begin to do it in a step-by-step manner. So first then, the delta hat function. Delta hat, there will be something like the transition with the hat and the Q0. Then first things first, we'll begin to establish the delta hat or the transition function for the element, the empty string. So from your Q0 right now, if we'll begin to check what will be the direction of your empty string, where will be the result? It will go back to Q0 only because we are not having any symbol, right? So that stays in Q0. This is your W and A, this one here. Now, next then, for your delta hat function, Q0, then we'll begin to check this first, the ABAB. Then your delta hat function will be Q0 and empty string and A. It will become like, what will be the transition of this? We'll begin to transition of we'll begin to write here then the transition of this one, then the delta hat of the processed delta hat earlier, which will be the delta hat of Q. Sorry, my pen is not really working. So delta hat of Q0, where input is the empty, then your new input right now that we'll begin to check will be the A. So for this one right now, what will be the delta hat of Q0 empty? Earlier, we're able to have the Q0. So therefore, we'll begin to check the transition function of that Q0 where your input is A. So from Q0, where will be the transition if we'll begin to check for the A? That will go to Q1. So therefore, your answer for this here is Q1. So make sure to enclose that with a curly braces because that's how you will begin to manage in order for you to because in our state class, for example, if you'll begin to search A and B, there must be a certain set of states that kind of alphabet where will go to any particular states as well. It could be one or two for the NFA. Now let's go ahead and proceed with the Q0. We're done with the A, so we'll proceed with AB. Now what about for AB? This is your W earlier and this is your A. The W now is A and your A is B. We're going to find the B transition. So the transition of the delta hat earlier will be, what will be the delta hat earlier that we're able to do? That is the delta hat function Q0. Sorry, it's not participating. Let me erase. Okay, Q0, and that is A, right? So we're able to manage that earlier, and your new functions that we'll begin to check right now is the B. So what will be the result of Q0 delta hat function of A earlier? That is the transition of Q1. So Q1, wherein delta hat of Q1 input B, where we will go. So from the Q1, where input B transition to Q3. So that will go to Q3. That's how you will do for that one. So we're able to check already for that particular AB. Now, since we're done with the AB, let's proceed with ABE. A. Now, the delta hat, this is delta hat of Q0 ABA, where your will begin to check the transition of the delta hat earlier of the Q0 AB, where our new input that we'll begin to check will be the A. So what will be the transition function of your delta hat earlier, which is the AB. So the AB is Q3. So that we'll begin to check from Q3 goes to input A. So where will be the transition will go? We'll proceed from Q3 where our input is A right now. So that is A goes to Q1. So therefore you will put that here as Q1. That is really easy. Now afterwards you will begin to deal with, we're done with the BAB. We will proceed with um we'll proceed with the next example. Next delta hat function will be Q0. This is Q0 ha. Just follow na lang. Q0 because my pen is not working properly. AB, and we'll begin to check the transition of the delta hat function earlier of Q0 ABA. And then your new input that you'll begin to check will be the B. So what will be the result for the delta hat ABA earlier? Will be the Q1. So we'll begin to check from Q1 where your input is B. So from Q1, you will begin to check the input B that is going to Q3. Now, we're able to finish the ABAB transition, the ABAB strings, we'll check if that is acceptable. So since the last stage that you were able to find here is Q3, and Q3 is it the final state? Yes, that is correct. So therefore, this extended transition function, this is true and that is valid because we're able to search the ABAB functions for that. So I hope so that is clear for everybody. And we will proceed with BABA. That is the same implementations that we'll begin to do. However, let's make it step by step, okay? Let me erase this. Everybody, just pause the video if you will begin to try to understand that first. Let's proceed with this one right now for the BABA. So therefore, the delta hat function that you'll begin to deal first with the empty element, where the empty element from Q0 will still stay in Q0. The delta hat function right now from Q0, where your input will become W and B, A is B, and you will begin to check the transition of the delta hat Q0 empty, where your input will be P, and the result of the delta hat Q0 empty is we'll begin to check that one that is from Q0, and we'll begin to check right now that Q0 input P. So from Q0 input B, that is going to Q2. So our answer here will be Q2. That's how you will do. Now transition function delta hat from Q0, I mean Q0 BA. So this is your W and this is your A. Therefore, you'll begin to check the transition function of the delta hat earlier of the Q0 BA, Q0 B, where your input right now that we'll begin to check is A, and the transition for that will be the result of Q0 B earlier is Q2. Your input that you'll begin to search is A, and that is from Q2, transition of A will go to Q3. So Q3. That's how you will do. Then, right now, the delta hat function of Q0 BAB. So you will begin to make it step by step. That is BAB, ha. BA is your W and B is your A. So therefore, you'll begin to check the transition of the delta hat of Q0, which is BA, and where your new input will be B, and then what will be the transition of Q0B A, that is Q3 earlier. So you'll begin to check right now the new input as B, and where from Q3 the transition B that goes to Q2. So therefore Q2. And for this one, by the way, there is a union actually that will gonna happen if and only if, for example, from Q3, we'll be going to check um, there will be two transitions of B. For example, B will go to Q1 and Q2. So you will begin to union that one actually. That's how you will do it. But in this case, we don't have any union that will gonna happen. Okay. Now, for this one, I'll be going to give you later on maybe if there will be a specific union as well, so that you could also try to follow that steps. Okay. Now delta hat function for the Q0 of BABA, where the delta hat, I mean the transition of the delta hat Q0 BAB, where our new input is A. So the result of the transition, the Q0 BAB earlier is from Q2, where your new input right now will be A. So we'll begin to check from Q2 points to A, that is going to Q3. So we're able to find already the BABA, and let's try to check what will be the function, the state that is for Q3, and is that the final state? Yes, that is the final state, and therefore this is valid. So that's the end of our video. Um, since in this one here, I'm so sorry, the connection is giving a trouble. Let me just write it. So Q2, then A. Let me finish that one because my iPad lost the connection earlier. So Q2, where your input A is A, so it will direct to Q2A to Q3. So since that is actually from and Q3 for the BABA, and that is the final state, so this is a true statement then. So thank you so much. I do hope that you were able to understand that clearly then. That's the end of our video, and see you the next time around. Thank you. And I'll begin to give you a separate video for how to also manipulate if there will be a union, for example, that will gonna happen, so that you will have an idea for that. Thank you so much and goodbye.